Cynthia, I appreciate the time. I saw that there were some major monsoon showers going down on the island. Were you affected by that?
Uh, it didn't stop me. I still got to training. I had, there's some people that definitely didn't get to go and their places were flooded. I was lucky enough that where I'm staying at, I didn't flood, but on the way to practice, like one or two occasions, the water was like up to my knees riding the moped. So it was definitely something different. But I was like, hey, everybody else is trying to do it. So I got, I was still able to make it to practice. So that's good. But it was definitely been crazy raining out here.
Yeah, it gets crazy out there at, around this time of year. Now, earlier today, it's morning over here on this side of the world. UFC 244, Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. That was a great performance by Masvidal. Now, do you believe the UFC should make a women's version of that? The baddest motherfucker women's edition, belt title. You think that should happen?
The, or the It should be like the baddest bitch. That's what it should
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah.
The baddest bitch belt. I mean that would be cool. That's awesome. That was honestly that was pretty cool. Because I feel like not everybody would have been able to like get that belt or come up with that, or even if they tried to, the UFC wouldn't have done it if it wasn't like Nate Diaz or Masvidal. So I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a belt like that, but I definitely want to be the world champion, UFC world champion, undisputed UFC world champion would be a lot better. But having that belt would be pretty badass too.
Yeah, just another accolade to the collection would be very nice. But like, I feel you on the part of being the world champion. I think that's just like the highest of the highs.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. That's the number one goal.
Now, recently you were at UFC Singapore. Your teammate Loma, she made her debut. What did you think of the whole strip show due to Albu grabbing and ripping, her shirt off, basically?
I think at the end of it, that was just her going for last resort. It was very, very annoying. I think she knew that Loma had a good clinch and didn't want to tie up, and if she did, she was going to hold on to something. So, but I thought it was a whole lot of bull crap. I mean, she kept doing it nonstop, to the point where Loma had to take her shirt off in between rounds so that she can continue the fight. But even so, then Albu continued to try to grab on her shorts, just weird stuff. So that was definitely something, you know, really annoying to watch, but good on Loma to continue and stay on her game and still follow through and win that fight.
What did you think of her performance since you've been working with her, in the lead up to that fight?
I think she did really great for her UFC debut. I understand how much pressure she, would come from fighting on one of the biggest stages in the world. But I think she's still getting comfortable, as is any fighter that first starts fighting or transitioning over to a new sport, especially her having such an extensive Muay Thai background. Um, she wasn't as comfortable trying to go to the ground, and I felt like she could have capitalized on that, got the sweeps, go in there, dropping a couple bombs, get back up, just so that her takedowns would be more established, and then it wouldn't have been a split decision of didn't understand that either. So
Mhm.
I think there's just certain things, obviously she still has a lot to grow, but I think she did really great for her first UFC debut fight.
Now, switching gears into, the last 2 years of your career, they've been filled with delayed fights, canceled fights, the tough weight cut that you had in Argentina. Even though you picked up two wins in between, going through all of that, has that changed you in any way, your mentality for the sport?
No, it hasn't. I mean, it's not the first time that I've had to deal with setbacks. I've had to deal with setbacks before I went, became a professional. Just having to have injury after injury. One time I had to sit out for 3 years and watch everybody else take off, and it just makes me hungrier. For me, this is my job. I feel really lucky and blessed to be able to do this full time, where I can train all year round. Of course, it is a little depressing when you have to deal with injuries, but it's definitely matured me. I do not feel like I'm a newbie in the UFC anymore, even though my fights have been like really long in between in comparison of when I first started, from like having like fights a year to one, two in a year, which that really sucks, but also because I'm just sitting right there, in the top 10 or kind of borderlining in and out. And like, every time you slow down, you can't really move up the rankings or anything. If you're not fighting people, you're not relevant. And so it's kind of just like my momentum slowed down a lot from where it was. And so I'm ready to get back on that big wave and, take it through to hopefully getting a title shot by next year. That's always a goal. I feel like I'm always like 1 or 2 or 3 fights away. And, I feel like anybody in the UFC, if you have like 3 fights that, in a row, 2 or 3, where you really catch people's attention, then they'll start talking about you getting a title next. So, it's just made me stronger for sure, and more mature and more well prepared for these fights that are coming ahead of me.
Anybody has been following you, they know that you've been in the shadows preparing yourself for your return, working on everything. How is making that switch to going all the way across the world been?
I think it's great. I think it was a great reset for me to do. I feel like any times where I've had like any stressful situation or things are just not going right, when you remove yourself from that situation, and even though change is hard, that's when you do the most growing. And I feel like for me, going from a wrestling based camp to now a striking, stuff what would be considered a striking based camp, because it is Tiger Muay Thai and they have the MMA program there. So, and it's been great. I think it's a good thing for people to do every once in a while. Of course, I would love to have had it without the changes. It's just a lot of the coaching staff changed, and the program changed back to Team Alpha Mountain. So it just wasn't working for me anymore. So I had to make the move. If it was up to me, I'd have like all my coaches with me, and whoever started from the bottom is kind of there to the top. But sometimes things that are out of your control. So I think being over here was just across the world. It was just kind of like a breath of fresh air. Osito, come here. I brought my dog Island
Yeah.
too. He's just growling at people right now. But hey, come here. Oh, I think he just wants to be in the camera.
Yeah.
That's it.
You got to bring the
Yeah,
protection. You got to bring the bodyguard.
yeah. um, but yeah, it's been great doing it. I think it's good for everybody to make a change every once in a while if they need to. Just like anything else in life, sometimes things just get overplayed, and you need to just remove yourself from that situation where you could be too comfortable and you're not growing anymore, or things are just not the same. Then it's like definitely time to move on. So that was one of those cases. So it's been great.
Do you think a lot of people, when they talk to you, they're focused too much on the negativity of like you leaving Alpha Male, and they think like something was wrong instead of more of like you trying to grow and spread your wings?
No, I mean, honestly, I don't think, considering the things that have been happening there with previous fighters and
Mhm.
going and the changes, I don't think people blame me for making the moves that I have made. So I haven't really got any backlash at all whatsoever. It's not like a TJ Dillashaw thing, or oh, I left somewhere else, and try to do it in a sneaky way. No, not at all. I feel like that my time there was definitely overdue. I mean, as far as for me, I'm not the one and only fighter that ended up like leaving that team. It started off with Joseph Benavidez, Lance Palmer, TJ. Things were just not the same. It's a great place to train. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say any bad things, but there's just too many changes for me to deal with that I wanted to make the move, and I don't think people blame me for that. I've actually probably gotten more support, especially having to have, because at the time what I was doing, I was training heavily with like my head coach Justin Buckles, that was the head coach at Team Alpha Male, and then he ended up parting ways. Now, he's doing his own thing, opening his own gym right at the moment, like building it, and so I would love to continue to have him as my coach, but it's just not something that can happen right now. We don't have a team or people to really train with, so um, I think I did what's best for me, and I don't think people blame me for that.
Tiger Muay Thai, what is the connection there? There must be some kind of link. It's not like you just picked up and said, okay, I'm going to go to Tiger Muay Thai, right?
No, actually, my coach Justin Buckles is the one that was like, hey, maybe you should go to Thailand, start off this fight camp, and then we can like finish it, back here in the States. And so that was originally the plan, but then seeing that we didn't really have like a solid team or amount of people that to train with, and I noticed here being at Tiger that there is a lot of people to train with, a lot of bodies, and of course George Hickman and Frank Hickman, the Hickman brothers are really great, and they're doing a really good thing out here with the rest of the coaches, and so it was a good structured team for me to come and do my fight camp for this fight. So moving forward, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, obviously it's going to be a great performance. I feel great come my next fight, December 7th. So um, that's the whole reason behind it. Plus, from what I've been told and from what I've seen before, even including my brother who's in Muay Thai, he's like, I've watched the tryouts, that they've had, and they've had a lot of great people come out of there. Alex Volkanovski, even the Hickman brothers were, winners of the tryouts there. Then you have, and they work with a lot of the guys that work that also, I mean, with like Adesanya, like Frank Franklin helped Adesanya. They work with a lot of other UFC fighters here. We've got Peter Yan, the Shevchenko sisters come here as well. Even Roger Huerta's here, ran into him, so you still have a lot of great people that have been coming here. So it was a no-brainer as far as like where I was going to train in Thailand. I wasn't too sure about like training anywhere in the U.S. for some reason. I just felt like for sure once I came out for 2 weeks, I was like, okay, I gotta come out in here, do my camp, really get in good shape and just stay focused on nothing. And that's just, my fight.
You're a veteran of the game. You're the veteran of the division. A lot of young fighters there at Tiger. When you got in there and started working out and training with the other girls, did you kind of take a leadership role? Do you feel like you have a leadership role there, or did you just jump in as just another woman in on the mats?
Well, definitely just jump in there like another woman on the mats, but I do think that we all help each other out. I feel like definitely me being a veteran of the UFC and a lot of the girls wanting to get to that level, I definitely can, share my experiences with them and, whatever they can learn from it. But yeah, I'm also like older than most of them. So a lot of the times I feel like I kind of do like end up playing like the bigger sister role, which I'm fine with. I like, especially women's MMA. I never really had a lot of people like help me. Like, I didn't have anybody else, any other women fighter around me that were at a higher levels that can kind of like give me some type of guidance. So I'm more than happy to be that, but I'm definitely not like over here like I'm just trying to like bully people around or anything like that.
Definitely, I've talked to a lot of the other women on the team, like Casey O'Neill and of course Loma and like Ewan and all the other girls that are there, and they are way fresh in the game, so I feel that they could learn so much from you. You have so much to, hand down to them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love it and I enjoy that. It's really great to see a lot of women that are taking it seriously and that have moved across the world to be, fighters and be the best that they can be. And so that's awesome. I've other when I first started, I hardly had any girls that were consistent or at that top or at that time that would even take it as serious or would only show up when they have a fight coming up. And the girls over here, they're training all year long, and I appreciate that from them because that's how I am. For me, it's a lifestyle. I train all year round, so I think me being there, they definitely learned a lot, and then they help me out a ton too. Because they have a lot of strengths, and I have some weaknesses, and I have, of course, me being probably like I have really good grappling and wrestling, and over here a lot of the girls a lot more striking base and stuff. So it's good. I think it's a good balance. Like we're helping each other both out.
Now, for your upcoming fight, you were scheduled a while back to face Claudia Gadelha, and she pulled out while you were in Singapore. I actually spoke with Claudia in China when she was visiting, and she told me that she did have this ankle issues that she had, and she was trying to get over that. Did you know, like, she had this injury going on, and did you kind of have a feeling that this could happen?
I had an idea that she had something going on with her ankle, because I've seen pictures before where she had like some kind of brace, and I had come off from a fractured foot too from in July, and she fought, or I fractured my foot in June, and she kind of like hurt her foot in July in her fight, and so I knew that we were both coming off foot injuries, mine being a fracture. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with her ankle that it hasn't healed, but I didn't think she was going to pull out. Honestly, I didn't think that her injuries were going to continue to still linger on. But sometimes we don't have control over that. Sometimes it just doesn't heal properly or in time. And for her to, she didn't feel comfortable to be able to produce a good fight camp for herself. to compete, which I respect that. Like I said, I had to deal with injuries in my last fight. I had to pull out. Obviously, it meant a lot to me to fight Claudia because she is one of the most seasoned veterans, one of the definitely one of the toughest fighters on there. Somebody that if there was the baddest bitch belt, she'd probably be one of them that'd be competing for it. Besides Joanna Jędrzejczyk. It's I wish her the best, and it's very unfortunate. Definitely did not expect that to happen. She did make a joke about it, I think it was the week before Halloween. She was at some kind of
Yeah.
party or something, and she put on oh, my foot fell off, some bull crap, but I'll be fine. The PI will help me, and they were joking about it. Next thing I know, 2 weeks later, okay, actually, yeah, my foot is still not hurt, and I'm pulling out of the fight. I was like, God damn it, darn it, I was kind of a little irritated, but I was like, we still have plenty of time. I just try to stay positive, and I was like, they'll find me an opponent. Just it might not be a ranked opponent, which sucks. I was like, it is what it is. I want to fight, but luckily for me, thank God, Marina Rodriguez was able to step in, and she happens to be one ranked above me. So I'm still going to be able to showcase a lot, especially because she's an undefeated fighter, and so I think that would say a lot. Not only her being in the top 10, but her being, undefeated at 12-0.
Has she been someone you have been watching or was on your radar at all?
Um, she, whoa, sorry. She, I knew what she was. She was fighting, I think, on the contender, and I had another girl that I was training from Brazil at the time, and she's like, "Oh, my teammate's fighting her on the contender." So I just remember tuning in, and so she's got the body of Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She likes to strike a lot. She's pretty fast. She's long and lanky. So I already had my eyes on her. I knew who she was. I was like, okay, this is a girl that definitely is going to come up and be a force to be reckoned with. So um, that was also one of the options previously before for one of my fights when I fought in Sacramento. And so I knew eventually if she continued winning that would come up across. So yeah, definitely know. I definitely know exactly who she is.
Stylistically, when you look at this fight, do you feel like you're going to be able to go in there and stand with her and kind of show more aspects or more parts or more of your arsenal in your stand up against this new opponent?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I think since me obviously making the changes, and I'm always trying to evolve no matter what. I'm always trying to get better. I try to be a perfectionist when it comes to my drilling, and I feel like it's more the more you fight, which sucks. Like I said, it's been really slow. But I feel like the more you fight, the more you unlock, what your capabilities are, what you can do, bring more tools out of the toolbox to use. And so I feel like this one's definitely going to be one of those fights. I've fought someone that had, who was a stand-up fighter just like her, tall and lanky, and that was Joanne Calderwood. So my plan, I believe that when I was fighting Joanne Calderwood was, we're going to beat Cody on the inside and TJ on the outside with the footwork, and making sure, we're just not going to stand there and bang and although I am training here at a Muay Thai gym and stuff like that, at the end of the day, it's going to be style me, whatever I've been becoming and all the work, it's going to be put together and whatever I need to do to get that win. Because I feel like the last time I went in there in the game plan, I ended up coming up short and I lost the decision to Carla Esparza. But so I'm just excited. I'm excited to go in there and just let go of everything and see what I can bring to the table. But I'm definitely really excited for the fight. I think it's a great matchup for me. Obviously, my strongest points are my wrestling, my grappling, submission wrestling, and she's a striker and she's tall and lanky. But I've also feel like I've been working extensively a lot on my striking as well, and I'm learning more and more every day, especially training with all kinds of different training partners. I mean, so many people from all over the world come here to Tiger, so it's like I get so many different styles in which I have to adapt in every single round.
Do you feel like after this fight, you're going to head into 2020? 2020 is going to be your year. Do you feel this way? Like if you look ahead, I know you're not looking ahead, but if you think about it, in your career trajectory, 2020 is like the year for you. Do you feel that?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, just the hunger that burns, like, inside, like, I love the fire that burns inside of me. Like, pretty much every year that I think it's going to, or the year that's coming, it doesn't, I always think it's going to be the one, but you never could foresee the future, whatever happens. But I do feel like since it's been slow for me the last couple 2 years and things have been, I think that my time is going to come again to, get that big wave and ride it out. And hopefully that'll take me to the title shot. I think it can happen, Yeah, all you got to do is just keep grinding, working hard. And, I see everybody else take off or, I have to deal with injuries or suspensions or whatever. And, the strawweight division has definitely shaken up. It's changed up a lot, which is pretty exciting. I like that. The fighters are just getting way, way more tougher. I think the strawweight division by far is the most technical and best female division in the UFC. Um, and, I'm excited. I feel like I'll match up really good against a lot of these girls because I'm only getting better. I mean, although I'm not fighting as much and getting older, but I'm getting better. That's for sure.
Beside yourself, who do you think is a nightmare stylistically for the strawweight champion, Wale?
Stylistically, I would say probably Tatiana Suarez, just because of how good of wrestling she has. And if Tatiana continues to be relentless, I mean, there's a lot of holes in Tatiana's game, but as far as like if you're going to go to somebody who's got like the most, probably the best wrestling pedigree out of the whole, strawweight division, it would be her. Um, and so I think that would probably be one of the biggest factors for Wei Lee, but also um, because I just don't think that it would be a close matchup if it came down to just the ground game. Like if Wei Lee fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk, I feel like it would be kind of more of a striking battle. I'm not sure if anybody would knock each other out. It might be a really badass stand up fight. But that's probably where I would say is at the end. Besides myself.
Yeah, definitely. Now, who do you think is going to fight her next? It seems like that's in limbo right now. Maybe they're waiting for early 2020. Maybe they're waiting for some of these fights to kind of, get over with and see who's ready for early 2020. I'm pretty sure you're going to be ready.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be ready. They know I've always been ready. Anytime that I've actually tried to fight Whaley before she even got the title shot. I I just get really excited and when I see badass like fighters up there and they're getting and they're getting the attention and they can back it up. I'm like, man, I want to try. I want a piece of that. So um, I yeah, definitely. I'm not sure exactly who's going to be around. I know that from what I hear, I think who's at top. I think so. We have Joanna, we have Jessica Andrade, we have Rose, but Rose, we don't know what she's doing, whether when she's going to decide to come up. Tatiana, I think she's like dealing with an injury or something. And I forget the other girl's name. Amanda Nunez's girlfriend. What's her name?
Oh, Nina.
Uh,
Ansaroff.
Nina. Yeah, I think she's going to be out for a little while.
Mm.
So there's not going to be many people that I'll take it,
Yeah.
and they know that. I've told Mick, I've told Dana, I'm not shy about it, and they're going to pick the best fights of which they think that are going to go best accordingly. My job is just to prove to them that I do deserve a title shot. So Wei Lee got her title shot at number 6, so I'm hoping that after I beat Marina Rodriguez, I can do it in a very devastating, fashionably way and get their attention again, and hopefully we can work something up and start building that up because I'm more than happy to walk the walk and talk the talk and get the fight.
Speaking of talking the talk, you got Macy Barber going at Paige Van Zandt pretty hard. Do you pay attention to all of that?
At first I didn't really pay attention to it. I really care. I knew it was funny. I just because I know Paige. I used to train with her a lot, and
Yeah.
I just know how she works, and it's about getting attention and making her money and elsewhere because she's obviously, as we all know, she is not the best fighter ever. She could be exciting here and there, and then also because she's just really pretty, and she puts her value a lot higher than what it is, but it's more valuable. She's more valuable as a sex symbol and like doing
Yeah.
other stuff, not as a fighter. As a fighter, there's nothing. She did like this huge like call out, thinking that she's gonna piss Macy Barber off even more by not giving her attention. She went and tagged all the strawweight and flyweight division, just besides Macy Barber, which I don't even know why she even like tagged any of the strawweight fighters, because in my opinion, she'll never make strawweights again, especially after getting her boob job. Second, I was like, she was like pretty much like a child when she was fighting at strawweight. She's like, no, it's a woman's body, and I just don't see her making that. But anyway, she made the mistake of tagging me, out of all people, because we used to be training partners. So everybody else had to make a comment about it, and she wouldn't delete it. She would only reply to the ones that she liked. She kept deleting mine over, and I was like, dude, girl, I was like, man, we know each other. I was like, we both know exactly what would happen if we fought. I was like, you could do your own thing, and I do my own thing, because we're in a whole different paths. I'm on my path to be one of the greatest ever, a real fucking fighter, a real martial artist. Excuse my language. Not what you're doing. You just want to be an Instagram model. You want to fight here, get attention, make money that way. Good for you. Good for you. Stay there. Stay in your lane. But don't call real fighters out, and then when they want to reply to your message, delete their comments. And so she was like kind of doing that kind of stuff for me. So I got really irritated about that, and we'll just see what she has to say. We happen to be at the same UFC event, if it ever happens again, just because she's got one fight left. And next thing I know, I'm pretty sure she's going to go to Bellator, so I'm not even sure if she's going to be able to walk around on the same platform that I'm going to continue fighting for anyways. But I don't understand Macy Barber. I mean, I understand because it's getting under skin, but like Macy, I'm like, it would mean nothing to beat Paige Van Zandt. It'd be worthless. I wouldn't be proud about having my resume, like having Paige Van Zandt as somebody I beat. I would rather have the baddest bitches on my resume, not Paige Van Zandt. I could care less. I was like, the only reason I would is to slap you around because you're saying some dumb shit. But other than that, just stay in your lane. And that's why I say, like, Macy Barber, you're just wasting your time. You're not going to prove anything. I was like, beating Paige Van Zandt, that's not going to prove that you're a great fighter, because Paige Van Zandt sucks at fighting. So that's how I feel about that. At first, I didn't care at all. I was like, do what you guys got to do. Sell your fight, get your attention. Different weight class, I don't care, But as soon as you start putting my name in there and not, taking into account my reply, making it seem like I'm not saying anything, I don't like that. So, yeah, that's my take on that.
Well, on December 7th, you get to go back in the cage and you get to smack some people around. UFC on ESPN 7. Washington D.C. Thank you, Cynthia, for the time, and good luck on the fight, and good luck on the rest of the year, and happy holidays.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.